Good morning. My name is Nick Lawrence, two-time Ironman, and today is a scheduled rest day. So, I've been taking the approach to show a little bit more about my everyday life on this channel. It's not just about my Ironman, it's also about working in a business while trying to build up my own business on the side, in engineering, if you don't know already. And just everything else that I would be handling in my day-to-day. So today, with my job, I'm actually going to be doing some recruiting. So it's a little bit later than I'd normally be heading to work. And, nowadays I'm finding myself in more of a leadership role in my company. So I set us up to go to a career fair for my old college, SUNY Maritime College. And, I'm going to be manning the table there, speaking with some of the upcoming graduates and some of the younger students, and just spreading the awareness of my company and just letting them know what the industry looks like, and giving them a little bit of perspective on what they can expect when they leave college. So should be a good day. I actually haven't been on my college campus in I don't think since I graduated, to be honest. I was around the neighborhood a few weeks ago to go to an Admiral dinner, which is more of a fundraiser for scholarship funds for that college. And I was just within eyesight of it, and I see it almost all the time because it's directly under one of the main bridges as you go from Long Island to Westchester or the Bronx. And yeah, so it'll be kind of nice to get back on campus, speaking to some of the students and kind of reminiscing about where I used to be. Many of you probably don't know this, or almost nobody would know this, but this college is pseudo run by the military. So as a student in what's called the regiment, you are required to wear a uniform, be shaved, be properly groomed, stand a certain way, talk a certain way. So it'll be pretty interesting to see the students following those rules again after having been out of that world for at least 7 years now. But yeah, so the whole goal is to recruit students and see who would be a good fit for the company that I work for. The second goal is to spread the name of the company, and this is probably a good marketing and PR lesson for anybody watching. So sometimes there are more subtle goals or side effects from the things that you do as a company. A lot of times people want to track a direct metric associated with going to an event, running a campaign like an advertising campaign, or sponsoring say a golf outing or another type of event. But their direct result that they're looking for might be one thing, but the actual side effects of doing these types of events in the industry regularly could be completely different. And one way that this is completely different, just from all my studying of business and marketing, is now you're introducing your company name to people who say they're between 18 and 22. A lot of these kids or a lot of these people probably won't work for your company in the next few years, and maybe they never will. But what you're doing when you're going to different career fairs or different networking events and having your name plastered up somewhere on a table or a banner, over time, over those few years that those wherever the career fair is hosted, it's becoming deeper and deeper ingrained in their mind an association with your company and this industry. So where that's important is 10 years down the line, when these people might be working for this institution, this like another, like a healthcare system, or this utility distributor, or whatever. At some point, they're gonna see your name again come across their desk, and they'll remember that name from all the exposure you've provided over those many years prior. And I didn't realize this until a little bit more recently in my career, where it happened to me, where me finding myself at this same career fair but on the other side of the coin as like the student, some of these company names that I would see like walking around, I would always go to the career fair and like talk to the recruiters, talk to like the different like panelists and table hosts, and a few names would always stick out, and those names stuck with me through my early career. And just having seen those names so many times, I thought that they were very important or larger name companies in the industry. And for all intents and purposes, they could have just not been. Like, they could have been smaller companies, mid-sized companies that had almost no traction in the industry, but because of the fact that they targeted me so early, I associated them with the industry, and that strengthened their name in my mind. So for those of you who maybe you're in marketing, or you're in business, or you're in business for yourself, or maybe if you're like me and you start out as like an engineer or like a doctor, don't underestimate the side or the downstream effects of people learning your name, even if it happens like years in the past. And I'll share another story, if that's okay, where there have been people while I was in that school in a more senior level. So the structure of the school, the seniors are kind of in charge of the grades below them. So like it's a very mentor-based program, and there were kids, and I'll call them kids because it seemed like they were at the time, but there were people who I was in charge of when I was a senior, and they were freshmen, that I may have been like slightly in charge of them. Like they kind of like I wasn't interacting with them enough to remember them and maybe that's just my memory, but years later I encountered these people like out in the industry, and they remembered me as being in charge of them and being like this upper level person, and like my reputation associated with that. Like they remembered me as being like kind, knowledgeable, like helpful. Meanwhile, I didn't even necessarily remember interacting with them. It could have just been like 1 or 2 times that they like sought me out for help for something. So like that's the same thing. Like sometimes you'll do something, or you'll be somewhere, or your name will be associated with something that you have no idea about, like the downstream impacts of that, and you really won't until like many years later. So that's the little marketing or business lesson for you here today. Just don't underestimate like the impact that you'll have on, it could be many people's lives, it could be one person's life, and it could be your business, or it could be somebody else's business. That value that you bring just by like being out there, being a good person to work with, being a good person to talk to, helpful, valuable, those will come back to you, and that, in my opinion, is why it's one of the reasons why, as you progress in your career, if you manage to stay in and around the same industry, you'll continue to become more valuable, because more people in the industry that might be like less experienced than you are like, they're continually getting this feedback of what you've done in your career and what help you provide them, or what value you provide them. So just think about that a little bit. Love to hear your thoughts on it. It is a bit of a deep topic. It really scratches past that surface level intent behind going to recruiting and networking events and this, that, and the other thing. But I've really been digging into personal branding lately, and the correlation between online personal branding and in-person personal branding is it is the same thing. And anyone teaching it as different things is maybe trying to take advantage of you. But the rules of online personal branding, as far as it comes to like your social media, your LinkedIn profile, your Instagram, your YouTube, the same rules apply in person. Like, the real goal is to get out in front of people, get your name out there, and become a recognizable face in the industry that you're choosing to be in. So with that, hopefully you enjoyed, hopefully you learned something or found some value in this, and I will hopefully interact with and meet some qualified, smart, generally good upcoming grads, and hopefully the company will start growing a little bit more as a result. And if not, then hopefully this will spread our name in the industry a little bit more. And I'm not sharing the name of the company that I work for, because my end goal is to do this for myself. So I'd rather not like give them too much free promotion. But on that note, everybody, enjoy your day.